found this unusual hinged locket among old jewelry. It has a mirror inside and a spinning mixer controlled by a knob on the back. Aside from that, it looks like a regular locket. Any idea what it was used for? This item is a vintage powder compact from the early 1960s, designed with a built-in twist mechanism. Unlike simple compacts that just stored face powder, this one had a clever internal design. When you turned the knob on the back, it would rotate a small mixing plate inside, pushing a fine layer of powder through tiny holes to the surface. This allowed for a cleaner, more controlled application. In your case, it looks like the upper mesh or strainer is missing, but the mechanism still reveals how thoughtfully these compacts were engineered. Some versions even had watch-style windows or refill ports hidden in the back. These items weren't just makeup tools, they were miniature mechanical marvels, blending function and elegance into something women carried with pride. I found this small, hollow item in my mom's attic. It's about 5 inches long and looks like it's made of brass and copper. There are no markings on it, and I can't tell what it was used for. Any ideas? What you found is likely a Centenbach or Mannsbachje, a small coin collection box once used by street organ players, also known as organ grinders. These performers were a familiar sight across European cities from the 19th to the early 20th century, turning the crank of a barrel organ to fill the streets with cheerful tunes. The box was usually shaken to the rhythm of the music, drawing attention and encouraging passers-by to drop in coins. Some organ grinders even had monkeys trained to collect donations directly from the crowd. Though the tradition has mostly faded in some European cities, you can still spot these performers keeping the charm of a bygone era alive. Your little brass and copper box is a rare reminder of this colorful street tradition. I found this strange metal purse while sorting through our theater's prop collection. It's lined with dry rotted velvet and has air holes, an adjustable vent, and a leather handle. One side even slides into a channel inside the case. Any idea what it was used for? What you found is likely a vintage portable foot warmer or heater used in the early 1900s to provide comfort during long, cold hours outdoors. These devices were especially common among rural mail carriers who traveled by wagon or sled through harsh winter conditions long before heated vehicles became standard. The vented metal case was designed to hold hot coals or a heated element, with the adjustable openings allowing users to regulate airflow and temperature. Some models, incredibly, didn't require any fuel at all. Instead, they used a stamped metal container filled with a material that absorbed and held radiant heat for hours. In a few rare designs, that material was even radioactive radium, which at the time was believed to enhance heat retention. I found this old tool with rotating wooden handles and 2 fabric straps that unravel from the center. It locks into place and feels very well crafted, but I can't figure out what it was used for. Has anyone seen something like this before? This item is an antique schoolbook carrier, a clever device that helped students carry their books before backpacks became common. Popular in the early 20th century, these hangers featured rotating arms and fabric straps to secure a stack of books tightly together. The wooden handles made it easier to carry the bundle by hand. While this type of school accessory was an innovative solution at the time, it never truly caught on widely. Few examples have survived, making it a rare find today. I was given this unusual scissor-like tool by a relative cleaning out his house. It doesn't cut, but the shorter arm looks like it's meant to press or tamp something. There's even a bit of ash or soot near the tip. What kind of tool is this? This item is a wick trimmer, a tool once essential in any well-lit home before the age of electricity. Unlike modern candles, older candles had wicks that didn't burn themselves down properly. As they burned, the wick would grow longer, creating smoke and dim light. That's where this scissor-like tool came in. It allowed people to snip off the charred tip without extinguishing the flame. In grand settings like ballrooms or theaters lit by dozens or even hundreds of candles, servants would move through the space trimming wicks every 15 to 30 minutes to maintain brightness. The small box-like part on the end of the trimmer collected the burned bits of wick. Eventually, in the 19th century, modern self-consuming braided wicks were developed, and tools like this became obsolete. I found this ornate silver locket while clearing out an estate in Ontario. It's palm-sized, heavy, and contains two pads with ink-like residue, but it doesn't seal tightly enough to be an ink reservoir. It has a short chain, but seems more like something carried in a pocket than worn. Any idea what this might have been used for? What you found is a dance purse, a fashionable accessory worn by women from the 1880s to the 1920s during a formal balls and social events. These compact purses were designed to be worn on the wrist while dancing, allowing women to carry small personal items like a handkerchief, coins, or powder, without interfering with the movement of the dress. One key feature sometimes hidden inside was a dance card, a small booklet where a woman would write down the names of gentlemen she had agreed to dance with throughout the evening. While the design of your purse is a bit unusual, it fits the purpose and era. The short chain suggests it was meant to be worn around the wrist, and the ornate exterior matches the elegance of that period. The lack of a silver hallmark likely means it's silver-plated rather than sterling, but once polished, it will be a beautiful piece. I found this steel container with two locking doors, one large, one small, and a full divider inside. It doesn't open on the ends and has no markings. It measures 24 by 8 by 5 inches. Could it have been used for documents or something else? This item is likely a vasculum, a traditional botanical case once carried by field botanists to collect and preserve plant specimens. These rigid metal containers were designed to protect delicate plants from being crushed during transport, while also keeping the interior cool and slightly humid to preserve freshness. The vasculum became popular in Britain around the 1770s, thanks to naturalist William Withering, and by the 1830s the name had become standard. It was a symbol of serious botanical work, commonly seen slung over the shoulder of researchers as they hiked through fields and forests. Though they gradually fell out of use by the mid-20th century, replaced by modern equipment, vasculums remain iconic in the history of natural science. I found this 2-foot-long stick made of dark wood, with a wrapped string detail and a heavy lump on one end. There's also a small hole at the other end. It's too short to be a cane. Any idea what it might be? This item is a knob carry, a traditional club used for centuries in southern Africa, especially among the Zulu people. Made from dense hardwood and topped with a heavy rounded head, the knob carry was both a weapon and a tool. It was carried by men for self-defense, hunting, and even as a walking aid during the long treks. But its role went beyond the practical. Knob carries often held symbolic meaning as well. Some were carved or decorated to show status, and they became part of ceremonial dress or military regalia. While no longer used in combat, the knob carry still appears in traditional ceremonies today, often carried by tribal leaders as a symbol of authority, heritage, and identity. I found this small metal chain with a bar attached, too small to fit a wrist. It belonged to a British engineer from the early 1900s. The links are irregular and it weighs about half an ounce. Any idea what it was used for? What you found is likely a gentleman's accessory from the early 20th century. It could be a vintage Albert chain or a tie chain. The T-shaped bar is a signature feature of an Albert chain, which was traditionally used to secure a pocket watch. The bar would pass through a buttonhole in a waistcoat, while the watch sat safely in a pocket. However, classic Albert chains typically had a swivel hook for attaching the watch, which seems to be missing here. That brings us to a more likely explanation. It's a tie chain. These were popular from the early to mid-1900s. The T-bar would slide through a shirt's buttonhole and the chain would loop around the tie to keep it neatly centered. I found this solid metal object in a farming museum. It's very heavy and has rubber straps and chains. One strap runs vertically, and there are two horizontal ones on the sides. Any idea what this might have been used for? This item is a blinder used on working farm animals like bulls or horses. These devices were designed to limit the animal's peripheral vision, keeping it focused straight ahead and preventing distractions during labor, especially when pulling carts or plows. The heavy metal frame added durability, while the rubber straps helped secure it firmly to the animal's head. The vertical strap would run over the top of the head, while the two horizontal ones wrapped around the face to keep the device in place during work. Blindering was a common practice on farms throughout the 19th and early 20th centuries, as it helped improve safety for both animals and handlers. I found this unusual tool with a wooden handle and a stainless steel hook. There's some French writing on it. It fits comfortably in the hand. The hook has a sharp diagonal tip, and the inside edge has small grooves. Does anyone know what it was used for? This item is a butter curler, a vintage kitchen tool designed to create decorative curls or ribbons of butter. These tools were especially popular in formal dining settings where presentation mattered just as much as taste. By drawing the curved blade across a block of cold butter, after dipping it in hot water, you could produce elegant butter curls for serving alongside bread or on appetizer trays. Beyond butter, this tool could also be used to shave thin curls from chocolate for desserts or even from wax for crafts. The diagonal edge and ridged interior help grip and shape the material as it's drawn along. What is this brass, spear-shaped object with a twisted copper handle? Both parts are about 8 inches long and there are no markings on the item or its case. Any idea what it might have been used for? What you found is likely the tip of a lightning rod from the late 1800s. During that time, many lightning rods featured twisted copper shafts and brass or bronze spear-shaped tips, both for functionality and visual appeal. This design wasn't just decorative. The pointed tip helped attract electrical charge, and the copper ensured good conductivity to safely redirect lightning strikes into the ground. Given its relatively short length, this piece may have originally been part of a combination lightning rod and weather vane. These dual-purpose devices were popular on barns and homes, serving both as a weather indicator and as protection from lightning. In the last video, I asked you to guess what this rusty metal object with 2 handles and rows of sharp spikes was used for. A few people gave it a try, but unfortunately, no one got it right. It's actually a dibble board, a gardening tool used to make evenly spaced holes in soil or seed trays for planting seeds. Thanks to everyone who joined in and shared their guesses. Now, I want to invite you to help identify another mysterious object. I found this set of colored ceramic rings with small handles. What do you think this item is? Leave your guesses in the comments and I'll reveal the answer in the next video.